we give up our 20s for our 30s. We give up our 30s for our 40s for our 50s, and we trade everything we achieved in our 30s, 40s, and 50s to get back to our 20s.
We give up the thing we have most of for the thing that we have least of.
And we give up the thing that we want for the thing that's supposed to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I will become happy when I'm sufficiently successful, and I will sacrifice my happiness in pursuit of success so that I can become sufficiently successful so I can finally be happy.
Yeah, we're the problem.
Yeah. That's reliably the takeaway. But I think it's a really, really good point. This retrospective life reprogramming thing that people do, where we spend our 20s wanting to be richer and older and have a family. Then we start that in our 30s and we gain more wealth and do the family thing. And then we get to our 40s and we've got more responsibilities. We've accumulated all of this stuff. And then we think, God, if only I could go back to my 20s. But you were fucking miserable in your 20s. This is a great lesson from Morgan Housel. Fantastic. I think I sent you the nostalgia article. Yeah. Mm-hmm. People should just search nostalgia. What's his fund called? Collaborative Fund, Nostalgia Collaborative Fund. It's a great essay. And in it, he's talking to his wife, and Morgan's wife is discussing with him what their plans are when the kids are going to move out. And Morgan starts talking about their time in their 20s where they could lie in on a Sunday morning and they didn't have any responsibilities and the kids didn't need taking to soccer practice. And he says, well, God, wasn't that the golden years? Like how amazing, do you remember how amazing that was? His wife turns to him and she goes, honey, you were miserable. You hated it. You had no idea whether you were going to be successful. You were constantly concerned about money. You were desperately needing validation from all of these people around you. You were permanently in dissatisfaction about this stuff. And he realized that in retrospect, he knew that all of his worries were a waste of time. But at the time, he had no assurance that they weren't something he should fret about and keep himself up at night.
We already know how the movie ends when we go back and say we want to relive it. And you can't relive it in the same context because uncertainty is the largest part of the story. I had a personal example that was similar to this, which is Layla and I were talking, and I said, when we, didn't do any of the speaking and all this other stuff that we're doing, and all we did was just own the portfolio companies and get distributions, I was like, man, life was so chill. Like we could do whatever the fuck we wanted. We didn't have an office. Like we didn't have to show up. We just did whatever we wanted. And she said, you were the worst. And now we're working like maniacs, right? I haven't worked harder than I have in the last 18 months in a while. And she's like, I prefer you working the way that we do now to when you didn't have enough to do. And so I only partially say this for the one person that this affects, which is that we seek freedom, but it's really that we seek options. Like the idea of freedom is a blank calendar, but a blank calendar that never gets filled is not a fulfilling day. And so we want the ability to have whatever we want during that day. And so I think being deliberate about what are my good day moments that I can try and recreate every day. And I have it on my wall. I have two things that are permanently in my office wall: logic, evidence, utility. And what does it mean? How do you know? And why does that matter? And the other three are work out with friends, eat food with friends, write something. My good day formula. And so I had the desire for freedom when you aren't sure what things to fill that freedom with. When you know what to fill the freedom with, then you're willing to give up optionality because you already know, you've already pre-selected your lunch for the day because it's your favorite meal. And so you are willing to make some sacrifices in terms of flexibility because you'll be able to have even more of those lunches or write even more by making some of these trade-offs.
I've tried many lunches and few are better than this.
Yes, exactly.
And I do think the perennial creatures of habit, like you are, and I think certainly I am as well, there is a a tendency to disparage new options. So no. I already know the best lunch. Like, you maybe. And yeah, you've tried a lot of lunches. That's good. But do you so you're never ever going to try another new lunch?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so maybe, but also how much of that could be you excusing the pain of adventure and the pain of potential failure?
A bad lunch.
I might try a new lunch and it might be worse.
Yeah.
What a fucking waste that would be. Look at all the time that I've put into trying lunches. Look at the quality of lunch I could have had compared with the new one. And this is a kind of a lesson of getting older, and this is almost certainly one of the reasons why people's openness to experience on ocean decreases as they get older, that they have this sort of expert's fallacy thing. So I've spent time recently around a lot of people in bands, and these guys are very artistic. They have studios that are filled with fucking torn up magazine sheets and like a sock. Zach, my housemate, had a fucking sock sellotaped to his wall for the 2 years we lived together. I was like, what's that doing there? He's like, I don't know. Well, why is it there? And because he's, covered in tattoos and fucking playing guitar and writing fucking poetry and doing stuff. It just, to him, that doesn't really matter. And I was like, I should be around people that push me beyond my limits to do new things more.
In different ways.
Yes. I need different levels of stimulus there. Just to linger for one more moment on that sort of nostalgia golden years thing. Mm-hmm. There's this really, really lovely insight. Perhaps golden years can only happen in our memory. Nobody believes that we're living through a golden era right now.
We never think we're in the good old days. But the good old days are always now.
Well, sometimes. I mean, COVID probably wasn't. There's somewhat periods during which people would go, that wasn't the good old days.
But when you're 85 and you were 25 in COVID, you fucking give anything for it.
True. Yeah, I guess good old days can be in many varieties.
It depends on how bad now is.
Correct. But I'm sure that in the 80s and the 90s in America, how many people considered they were living through the golden era?
Yeah.
Very few. And yet, in retrospect, everybody just wants fucking Britney Spears back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the old one, not the new one.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's what everybody wants. They want this sort of creed, big tackles from American football, 18-wheel articulated lorries, and big American flags flying.
I have spent a huge amount of mental resources accepting suffering and not saying that there's something wrong with something bad. Like a huge amount of mental resources go into this because I've been better and faster at correcting the loop of like, oh, I am not happy with this particular thing, and therefore there's something wrong.
Yeah, so fix the story that I tell myself as opposed to fix the thing.
And that's been super helpful with the addition of everything that I remember will always be better than it was. And the nice thing is that there's tons of science that backs this up, which is that we learn through reward and punishment. Punishment fades with time, no matter how bad it was. Like, you get drunk, you get hungover, you say, I'll never drink again. 7 days later, you're out drinking again. Why? The punishment of the hangover fades quickly. You are with somebody for a while, you're like, this bitch is crazy, or this guy is crazy, and then you break up, and then all of a sudden, what do you remember? The good times. Yeah. Because reward sticks. And in some ways, there's a little bit of a hopeful message there, which is that when you look back on your life, you will disproportionately remember the good times, but it only becomes a problem if you limit the present, which is the only thing you've ever actually lived in.
That's the fading affect bias. Tragedy plus time equals comedy is the closest thing psychology has to an equation.